Welcome to the WP Builds podcast, bringing you the latest news from the WordPress community. Now, welcome your hosts, David Wormsley and Nathan Wrigley.
Hello there and welcome to the WP Builds podcast. I'd just like to begin by saying Happy New Year. I hope that you enjoyed the holiday season and managed to get a little bit of time off. Obviously, I hope that you had a great 2019 and we're all looking forward to an equally good 2020. My name's Nathan Wrigley and this is episode 160 entitled Running Contests in WordPress with RafflePress. It was published on Thursday the 2nd of January 2020. Just a few little bits of housekeeping before we begin. Head over to wpbuilds.com/subscribe and over there you'll be able to join our newsletters, find out about the podcasts and the news that we release, as well as finding out about deals that crop up. Also, head over to wpbuilds.com/deals. It's a page a bit like Black Friday every day. You can find some significant amounts off some notable WordPress plugins, so go check that out. And also wpbuilds.com/win, which is a competition. And over there at the moment, you'll be able to win a WP Forms Pro license, which is being given away until the 8th of January. And it's using RafflePress, which is the whole purpose of today's podcast, but we'll get onto that in just a moment or two. The last page is wpbuilds.com/advertise. And if you go there, if you're a product or service owner of anything to do with WordPress, well, hopefully we'll be able to put your product or service in front of a WordPress specific audience. A couple of companies who have done that are WP Feedback. Are client communications eating up all of your time? If so, check out WP Feedback. It's a visual feedback tool for WordPress that is specifically designed to get you and your clients on the same page. So go and check out wpfeedback.co. And GoWP. GoWP is a white label WordPress maintenance company for agencies. With their pricing, it makes doing the maintenance yourself seem silly. One of their most popular features is the Visual Validator tool. It does visual checks on your site after plugin updates, so they know if something's broken immediately and can fix it before you or your client even notice. So do yourselves a favour, go check out GoWP at gowp.com. And we do thank all of our sponsors for helping put on the WP Builds podcast. Okay, let's get to today's podcast interview. It is an interview this week with a chap called John Turner, who represents RafflePress. It is a WordPress plugin that enables you to very easily create contests. Now, if you've ever filled out a contest online, especially over the last couple of years, you'll probably understand what this plugin does. It enables you to set up contests really easily. It guides you through it with a simple wizard, and it's got a nice admin interface. Set up your prizes, and then offer a whole bunch of different ways that people can enter that competition. And then hopefully promote it for you and create some kind of viral loop whereby social media posts and so on spread the competition and more people enter. It's a fabulous plugin. I must admit I'm using it myself at the moment. If you get to listen to this before the 8th of January 2020, then you can go to wpbuilds.com/win and we've got a competition for WP Forms over there, so you might want to go and check that out and see exactly how it works. We talk about not just the plugin, we talk about John's thoughts on what makes a good competition, the size of the prize, how many different kind of entry forms should you have, whether people are becoming cynical about these kind of competitions and are finding them too commonplace. Things like GDPR crop up again and so on and so forth. Anyway, it's really, really interesting. I really do personally recommend this product because, as I say, I'm using it myself, and of all of the WordPress solutions, I really do like this one very much indeed. So, okay, I hope that you enjoy the podcast. Hello there, welcome. Thank you for making it this far into the podcast. I'm glad that you've joined us again for another WP Builds episode. This week we're having an interview. We're having an interview with John Turner, who's all the way on the east coast of America. Hello, John.
Hey, how are you doing, Nathan?
I'm good, thanks. Now, John is working for a company called, well, the company that he's working for is called RafflePress, but I think, John, it's fair to say that RafflePress is part of a bigger company. Is there a company sort of living in the background of RafflePress?
Yeah, so I'll give you kind of a short history of it. So I was running a business on my own about a year ago called Seed Prod, which did coming soon pages. And I had a small product that I sold with Seed Prod called Viral Giveaways. And about a year ago, I submitted an application to Awesome Motive, which has lots of companies underneath it that you might have heard of, like Opt-in Monster and WP Forms and Monster Insights. So just a lot of other plugins. I applied to Accelerator Growth Fund that they have, and I was accepted with that fund. And basically, I was brought in under that umbrella. And we decided to pull out my old plugin, which was a viral giveaway plugin, and create a new plugin called RafflePress and just make it really awesome and great for WordPress users.
So I actually remember reading the news about that, whatever you called it, accelerator program. Oh, that's great.
Correct.
I'm glad that it kind of came around, and pleased that we've got somebody on the podcast that benefited from it. Now, you're going to find out about RafflePress by going to rafflepress.com. No surprises. It's exactly how you'd imagine it was spelt. No hyphens or anything like that. Right. So what on earth is it? What is this product that you took from sort of less maturity to maturity in the last year? What's the point of it?
Sure. So it is to run giveaways. So basically, the idea here is that you run giveaways and you create a buzz, and it helps you grow your email list and social media followers. So there are lots of platforms that are non-WordPress, like a Gleam or RaffleCopter. And like I said, I had a plugin that was specifically for WordPress, but it wasn't quite as mature as the other ones. And when I joined it with Syed, we decided to really build something that was awesome for WordPress and that worked natively with WordPress. So that's kind of how RafflePress came about. And we've run it locally. We run it locally on all our sites. Actually, WPBeginner.com, which is one of our sites, ran it to do a birthday giveaway, and it was amazing. He had just started a new Facebook group, and I think he has over 10,000 people in it now.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, we'll come on to the options, but interesting that you mentioned that you can kind of give away access to Facebook groups, or, at least kind of make that a condition of entering the competition and so on. I'm just wondering, with these kind of competitions, so just very basically, the principle is that you have some kind of reward, you give that reward away, and you increase your chances of receiving that prize if you go through a bunch of interactions, prescribed things that RafflePress sets up. You follow this action, you get more chances. You do something else, you get even more chances. So the idea is to encourage people to share on social media that this contest exists. Is that about right?
Yes, sharing on social media is one of the options, but there's a lot of different options you can do. You can have people watch a video, leave a comment, invent your own, submit an image. There's just a lot of things that you can have them to do, depending on what your goals are, of course.
Yep.
For people to get entries, and basically it just incentivizes people to take those actions as opposed to just saying, follow me on Twitter, right?
Yeah. But the primary purpose is to gather in as many email addresses as you can in as short a space of time as possible, and in some way, share this out in order to get more email addresses. Okay, so my first question, which presumably you've got some sort of data on because you've been doing this for a while, is, and it's a very generic question, but what in your experience makes a good contest? So what I mean by that is, I'm setting up a contest. I believe that I've got a prize which is worth giving away. So let's focus on that to begin with. Do you have any kind of metrics about what kind of things entice people? What kind of prizes you can give away? Can you give away like real world things like tickets to the next baseball game, or is this system so hooked up with WordPress that it has to be something digital and online?
Sure. So we'll start with basically what you can give away. So you can give away anything. The RafflePress plugin simply picks winners for you. Mm-hmm. And as far as delivering whatever it is to those winners is up to you. So it'll pick winners, and then it'll say, here's their email address. And then you can contact them and, get send them their prize. You can also ask a question. So if you're shipping something, you say, what is your address, right? And that's one of the entry options, and they get entries for that. And then if they're the winner, you can ship to that address. So you can give away pretty much anything.
Okay.
As far as the prize, it depends on your audience. So, for example, the WP Beginner birthday was huge and it attracted a lot of people. We worked with basically hundreds of vendors to get a huge over $124,000 worth of prizes. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to do that, but what you want to do is get something that really excites your audience, right? So, if you're have designers or something like that, you could give away an iPad. It just depends. You just want to get something that's going to excite the audience and get them to want to join your giveaway. And of course, it's just going to depend on what your goals are and the audience that you're marketing to.
Yeah, one of the things that WP Builds does is we run these contests, and very, very often it's like a plugin developer or a theme developer who will come along and say, look, I'd like to be involved in doing a giveaway on your website, and so we do that. And one of the things that I've noticed is if the prize is kind of modestly okay, then it's very difficult to persuade people to, let's be honest, people have got a certain cynicism about entering their name into a field of a website and certainly giving up their email address, because the trade-off has to be worth it. And so I've noticed that if the prize is modest, then the entries are very, very modest. And as you go towards a decent prize, the entries sort of creep up. But it's only when the prize becomes really extraordinarily interesting that then it begins to take off. That's my 2 cents on that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we've seen as well. It's gotta give them value, right?
Yeah,
you can't just kind of half do it. Yeah.
Do you have any insight or again data on whether or not like one prize tends to focus the mind a little bit more? So let's take the example of an iPad. If you were to give away one iPad, does that sort of get the same interest as maybe like 2 iPhones, or does it distill it if there's more prizes, or does it just kind of skyrocket it if there's more prizes?
Sure. So typically, if there's more prizes and the potential for more winners, then it gives the person that's entering the feeling that they have a better chance than one and whatever the number of entered, right? So typically, now we don't have a lot of data. I mean, the only data we have is internal data, because since it's a plugin, it installs on people's sites, so we don't collect data from people's sites. So typically, we do run multiple prizes within our companies, and that tends to work well for us.
Yeah. Have you any thoughts on whether or not people are still responding to this kind of marketing? Obviously, if you were to rewind the clock, maybe 2 or 3 years, this whole thing was brand new. It was emergent. A few early developers came out with this notion, and it seemed to sort of grow slowly, and now I see this kind of prize being offered all the time, and usually with that goes a certain level of cynicism, I would say, and a reluctance to fill out the fields. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely still works, because we see a lot of people using not just our plugin, but other people's plugins, and especially in the WordPress space, I can name 3 or 4 companies off the top of my head that are doing upcoming giveaways, right? That are huge companies, and not to mention our own companies. WP Beginner, like I said, ran the birthday giveaway. I think we had over 40,000 entries, and it was huge. It was absolutely huge, and the Facebook group for that was totally new at the time, and it was all said and done, I think he's got over 10,000 members in it now. So, yeah. Now, listen, not everybody has that size mailing list, but the point is they do still work if it's done properly. Yeah,
and I suppose doing it properly is like crafting your page correctly, and positioning the text in such and such a way so that you market it successfully and so on, and also I suppose giving it a certain period of time for the competition to mature. One of the things that I quickly worked out was that if you run a very, very short, swift competition, that is much less effective than extending it over a period of weeks. I did ones where it was just 5 or 6 days, and then I figured out, like 3 weeks to a month is certainly better, because people are sharing, and then people discover in other people's Twitter feeds a couple of weeks later, I didn't know that existed, and so that is something I found.
Yeah, we typically run them from 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah.
there. Just give them enough time to marinate, but not enough time where people kind of forget about it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. When the emails are sort of sucked into the platform, do they live within the RafflePress the table in the database, or are there options to automatically send those over to some service which you might be using? So maybe, I don't know, ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, or perhaps you've even got things like Zapier to send it off wherever you fancy.
Yep. So basically, we have an action. So actions are things that people can earn entries with in the plugin. And the action that we have for email specifically is join a newsletter, and you can rename it. But basically what that does is that connects up to a third-party service like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or Zapier. And we also have the ability, if we don't have a direct integration with one of those, then we have something called an HTML form, where you can just take the HTML form from that provider that you would embed on your site and paste it in our plugin, and we'll post to it in the background. So we can pretty much integrate with any service. And as far as where that email goes, we have a couple of ways. So by default, the join newsletter action is basically what will happen is you'll run a giveaway and someone will enter the giveaway. And when they enter it, that email is stored in WordPress, but it's not sent to the third-party email service provider until you click join newsletter. We also have an option to trigger that action automatically when somebody signs up for a giveaway. And depending where you live and some of the laws and GDPR, some people play with that, right? Because there's consent and things like that. So there's a couple of different ways, but no matter what, anytime someone enters, that email is stored locally, just obviously so you can contact them if they're a winner. But it's optional whether or not they consent into your email list. Like I said, that's kind of an option there.
Is that consent like a double opt-in? Is that consent achieved through an email, which then they click a link on, or is that something they tick a box on the widget?
There's a box that they can tick and say, I want to opt in to this newsletter specifically. So.
Okay.
Like I said, that's something that people can play with depending on where they live. But obviously, if you need to comply with GDPR, then you would need to enable that so they're not automatically sent to your email newsletters. Yeah.
I've noticed forms plugins. So, for example, Gravity Forms, or in your case, WP Forms. There's a lot of concern about storing things like emails in the WordPress database, and people are rightly concerned that they don't want to be caught out and hacked, and have to go out and contact all these people. Is there any kind of automated or perhaps even more manual way that you can expunge these emails after you've dealt with them and you've sent them off to the third-party autoresponder and so on?
Yeah, you could delete them out and stuff like that. So, you can get rid of them and be done with it and then not have to worry about it anymore.
Okay. So I'm looking over at the RafflePress.com website, and first of all, let's tackle the pricing, because that's always the. I mean,
sure.
It's always the way, isn't it? You look at some kind of analytics software. Where do they go first? They go to pricing straight away.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about that. We are recording this in September of 2019, and so as with all things caveat emptor, the pricing may very well have changed, but where are we at as of today?
Sure. So right now it starts at $39 and goes all the way up to right now $159, and that's if you want it on a yearly basis. And we are running a limited time lifetime offer, which will basically is just a one-time payment. It's for $319, and you own the plugin for life, which is kind of cool because some people don't like to have a plugin that they have to renew every year. So we're running that right now. We've seen a lot of interest in that because we're a new product and people are wanting to lock in that price early. So that's something we've had a lot of interest in.
Yeah. So if the price points, obviously there are, so as at this moment, there's four price points. You got the Plus, which is the $39. You got Pro, $79, Growth, $159, and the Ultimate is the lifetime one at $319. Let's start with the Plus. What are the things that you get with that are different to the other plans? It looks to me from where I'm sitting that it's like basically your single site license. You can do it on one site.
Correct. You can run it on one site and you can do things like verify the email. You get access to all the actions, basically every action that we have there. And then you can export your entries and do some design options and run multiple prizes and stuff like that. And then as you work your way up, it basically tiers up the features. So the next one gives you more sites and give you the email integrations and the polls and surveys and mandatory actions, which is kind of a cool feature if you're not familiar with that. Basically, what you can do is set an action. For example, like join my email list is mandatory. And then after they click on that, they'll get bonus actions they can do to get more entries.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of a cool feature. And then we get repeat actions, which lets them do something every day and come back. And that kind of gets people coming back to your website, and doing stuff. And then we've got submit an image, which is actually coming out today. So that's a feature that was coming soon and basically is released today.
Okay. We'll come on to those in a minute, but then we've got the what's it called, the growth at 159. You've got some more features in there as well.
Yep, and that has our refer a friend, which is basically lets them share it on social media platforms like Facebook and stuff, and then it's kind of a viral loop, and it gets people coming back to your website, and then they refer other people.
Yep.
And then we've got social logins, so they can log in with their Facebook instead of entering their email, and we've got our Zapier and a giveaway landing page if they don't want to embed it in a post or something like
and
that.
each of those is so the Plus, the Pro, and the Growth. They're all yearly subscriptions, and then if you step up to the $3.19 as it is at the moment, you get the lifetime support, lifetime updates, and it says unlimited sites and so on and so forth. Speaking of the number of sites, now a lot of the people that listen to this, they buy plugins and they buy multiple site licenses, and the endeavor there is to be able to pitch that product, that service, as an offering to a client. So I'm just wondering if the licensing model that you've got allows for them to install this on a third-party client website.
Yep, they can install it on a third-party client website, but we do have some things like, the client does not get the support. The person that owns the license gets access to the support and the member area and stuff like that, but they can certainly use it on client sites. And then we also have a nice affiliate program, so they can, sell it to their client as, a value-added service and then get some revenue from it as well.
Okay. So the way that you're going to find out about that pricing is you just go to rafflepress.com/pricing. But I'm going to kind of get into the weeds of what the plugin actually does now. So okay, we've installed the plugin. We've decided that we're going to give away a fabulous prize. We're going to give away one of them, and so on. I'd just like you to talk us through. I know that's difficult on a podcast. There's nothing to actually see, and it's very much a visual thing that's going on. But nevertheless, what is the process that we go through in order to actually set up a contest? What steps does your wizard, if you like, guide us through?
Sure. So the first thing you do is when you install the plugin, it will ask you to, create a giveaway. And then on the giveaway page, we have pre-designed templates. So you can do like a basic giveaway, which is basically blank, and you add your own actions, or you can do a Facebook, a pre-launch, Twitter, and those will automatically add actions based on those goals to the giveaway that you can customize. But, for example, if you want to just create a basic giveaway, a lot of people would do visit on Facebook, follow our Twitter account, watch this video maybe, join our newsletter. And those are sort of the more common ones there. And but it's super simple. We have basically a drag and drop visual builder. So you click on it, it adds it, and you add in your options. You can see everything in real time, and is frankly one of the easiest builders. I mean, that was our goal, is to make it super easy to use. If you've used any other platforms, sometimes it can get overly complicated because they have so many options. We've tried to limit the options and just make it super easy to build a giveaway and get it up and going as quickly as you can.
So how do we then, so we've been through the process of setting up, give it a name. We've decided on a prize. We've ticked the boxes, which I'd like to come back to in a minute, actually. Tick the boxes for what it is that we want to actually display as part of that entry process. How do we actually get the giveaway on our WordPress website? Is this like a shortcode type thing? Is there a widget or something?
Sure. So we have a publish page, and it gives you three options. You can put a short code in, or you can, if you're using Gutenberg, you can add a Gutenberg block to your site or to your page. So if you're on a post, you can hit plus block and it'll say RafflePress, and you select your giveaway and it'll add it there. A lot of people have switched over to Gutenberg, which is kind of nice. Or you can create a standalone landing page, and that lets you just decide a URL. Like, for example, if you're, example.com, you can create a URL called iPad/giveaway or -giveaway. And then when people visit that, it'll be a distraction-free giveaway page as opposed to embedding it on your website. Yeah.
Do you get the ability, because I know that our audience will want to know, do you get the ability to kind of customize this? Have you got ability to, I don't know, tap into the CSS in some way and fiddle with it in the UI, as opposed to trying to figure out what the selectors all are?
Yeah, we do have several design options for the standalone giveaway, like the background image and the colors and the fonts, and you can add custom CSS. But again, we tried to keep it simple and limit that. And of course, if you're embedding it on the website, it'll take your website's look and feel.
Yeah, rival services that I've used before that do a similar. Have a similar purpose to RafflePress. One of the things that they've got in, and I don't know if this is the case for RafflePress, is they've kind of got these pre-designed workflows. So, for example, if the purpose is just to gain an email list, then go down this route. But if your purpose is to, I don't know, bolster the audience to your Facebook page, go down this route. Or if your purpose is to shift a physical product, go down this route. And to be honest with you, because I've only ever done the one kind of option, I've never really explored those. But I wondered if RafflePress had got different kind of workflows and different routes that they encourage you to go down.
So basically what we have is basically what I was talking about when you start the giveaway. We have templates that will give you a goal, and you click on that, and then it will automatically add actions to the giveaway that you can configure from there to achieve that goal. Yes.
Okay. So looking on your website, I've just actually found you've got things like the classic giveaway, the grow your email list giveaway, refer a friend, grow your Facebook page. So exactly what I've seen elsewhere. It turns out that's a nice coincidence. Grow your YouTube channel. So in what ways are they subtly different? So the different configuration of actions, how do they, let's say, for example, we did a grow your email list as opposed to grow your YouTube channel. How do they look different when you finish?
Sure. So it's just going to add different actions to the giveaway. So for example, grow your YouTube channel. It'll add like watch a video, and then it'll have like join your or subscribe to your YouTube channel, as opposed to join your newsletter. We'll have the join your newsletter giveaway, and maybe follow us on Twitter and stuff like that. So it's just different actions that they can do to get entries for your giveaway.
One of the things that always fascinated me, and I've never followed up on this, is with some of these actions, it's asking you to perform a particular task. So let's say, for example, the task is follow me on Twitter, so follow at whatever on Twitter. Does the system kind of figure out if that action has actually been performed? Does it in some way ping Twitter or, get notified by Twitter? Yeah, this is legit. It really has happened. Or can the system, are you relying on a bit of trust and people not to game it quite so much?
Sure. So we verify where we can. So for Twitter specifically, those are verified through the API. So if you enter a username that is not following RafflePress, for example, it'll say, sorry, this isn't following RafflePress, and it won't give you the entry. But if we can't verify it, then every entry is stored and what they've replied to is stored. So if they're selected as a winner, you can manually verify it as well. But like I said, we try to verify where possible.
Okay, so at the point where you've selected your winner, if any suspicions are raised, you can see what it is that they've claimed to have done, and thereby go and spend a little bit of time manually checking. You can weight these different actions as well. So, for example, you might wish to say, I really, really would like Twitter followers, and so instead of getting one extra entry, I'm going to call it a point. I don't know if points is suitable. But instead of getting 1 point, you could bump that up to, say, 5 points, and thereby kind of encourage people down that path.
Exactly, and that statistically just basically gives them a better chance of winning. So if you have an action that you really want to take, obviously you want to weight that higher than an action that's not as important to
Yeah.
you.
Now, the list, this is one of the things that really got me kind of sitting upright when I looked at this plugin a few weeks, well, probably months ago now that it first came across my radar, was the number of actions, because the platform that I'm using at the moment is much, much more limited than this. And I'd like us to dwell on, well, actually to go through them all one at a time, if possible, to sort of,
Absolutely.
to discuss what they do and what's available.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead. I'll let you start it.
Okay, so the one that I'm looking at on your website, and I don't know if this list is exhaustive. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. You've selected on the RafflePress website as a demo, probably so as not to overawe us. You've got 8 possibilities, and the first of which is just simply labeled automatic entry. Now that one puzzles me. I don't really know what that means.
Sure. So, by default, when you enter the giveaway, you're not giving an actual an entry unless you do something.
Okay.
So, for example, do an action. So some people want to give entries just for simply entering the giveaway, and that is a way to do that. So basically, as soon as they enter their email, they get, hey, you're entered to win, right?
Got it.
So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's actually really straightforward. I don't know why I didn't get that at all. Okay, so the next one is visit such and such. It says RafflePress, but I presume it means visit anything you like on Facebook. I guess it literally is measuring a click and seeing did you actually bother to open that up.
Yeah, and so we'll kind of group these. So for the social media ones, typically you want people to follow you or visit that site. So Facebook and Instagram are kind of tricky because they recently updated their terms, and they don't let you, before about 6 months ago or so, you could say you have to like this to get an entry. Now you can't say that because of their terms. So we say visit Facebook, and then after they visit your page, we show a like button, but it's optional. It's not required to comply with their terms.
Okay.
And Instagram, the same thing. You can't make people follow you. So we say visit, we encourage them basically to follow you by, say visit, and, follow is optional.
Okay.
Now, Twitter, you can still require them to follow you, and that's what we do. We verify that. Pinterest, for example, visit a YouTube channel. When they visit it, it automatically shows the subscribe button, so they just have to click it and stuff like that.
Okay, so where possible, you're following up. Where not, you can't.
Yeah, and we're just complying with every third party and trying to play by their rules, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one we've talked about, which is the Twitter follow, visit YouTube channel, I suppose, is exactly the same as the visit Facebook. So this is an interesting one, because for me, this is already ticked. So this must be an action which I've already taken. So I'm just going to go off on a tangent for a moment. Presumably, you're setting a cookie, which is keeping a track of what it is that I've already achieved. Because for me, out of your 8 points, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done 4 of them. I've already achieved 4 of them, so presumably that's how you're doing it.
Yeah, so basically we are storing the entries in the back end, and then we store a cookie so that if you enter the giveaway and come back 2 days later, you don't have to re-log in to see what you've done. Yeah. You can just it automatically shows you what you've done until you log out, basically.
Okay.
And yeah, so it just makes it easier, especially if you're running something that somebody can do on a daily basis. They can just come back. They don't have to do anything. They just do the action again, and they get more entries.
Yeah, I can see the if you were seriously interested in gaming the system at this point, you could clear your cookies and, but it's not going to go into the same account. Presumably it's going to set up a different entry in the table. And so you increase your chances, but as a whole widespread bunch of users, not just one user, which is kind of interesting. Okay. So join an email newsletter was the next one. And that one for me is ticked. So okay, has that measured my my actually joining the newsletter, or was it, in other words, did I click a double opt-in, or is that simply, you press submit on an email address button?
Yeah, so you can hit submit. We do have the option for somebody to click a double opt-in there. But like I said, that particular action has three different options. You can run it when somebody signs up for the giveaway, so it automatically triggers it. Or you can have them click the button as an action, after they enter.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, you can also have them click a checkbox as well to say that they're consenting to receive email.
Got it. I've run into a problem with this one, not on RafflePress, but on a rival service before, and that is this refer a friend option, this viral option. Whereby there is the option to share a link, and it's a unique link with a sort of query at the end, a string at the end, which is specifically set for you. And people in the past on the platform that I have used assumed that by just spraying out a bunch of emails to their list, they would then have accrued, like let's say they've got an email list of 5,000 people, they assumed that would gain them 5,000 versions or entries.
Right.
But the platform in this case, no. Somebody's got to actually take an action on that link before you're credited with that. How does it work with RafflePress?
Yes, so the same here. And to comply with a lot of other services, you have to make it that way. So, for example, Facebook, you cannot share something in exchange for entries. So basically, you can share the giveaway, but the entries aren't assigned until someone signs up for the giveaway. Right. So if user A refers user B, then user A sees the entries from that. So it's just a way to keep it fair, and plus it doesn't do, it's more benefit to you to get more people as opposed to them just sharing it out for entries. Yeah.
So just to sort of paraphrase that, if you send it out to 5,000 people and 3 of them take an action on that, you're credited with 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Correct.
Now, this one I think's inspired. Watch a video now. I'm interested in this because I do make a fair bit of video content. So how does this work? Is this like a YouTube URL? Do they get the credit as soon as the video is launched? Do they have to watch till halfway through, or how does that work?
So right now, it only supports YouTube. So you enter the YouTube URL, and then they are only credited with the entry after the video finishes. So they have to watch it all the way through.
That's great. I really think that's inspired. Yeah, I just think that's such a lovely addition. Not something I'd seen before. I don't know if it's on other platforms. But okay, the next one I can see is tweet a message. So you click on this and you get the option to put the URL of the tweet in and click the tweet button. So you can sort of you create your tweet and then you come back and say, look, here it is. Here is the URL of the tweet that I created.
Right. Yep. And the tweet a message can be free form. So you can just say, tweet any message about our company, or you can put in a specific message that you want them to tweet out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Again, another bit of genius idea. I like that.
Yeah.
The only other ones that I can see on the website, that is to say, not on the demo page that you've got up. I'm now looking at your landing page, the .com /nothing page, is you got the option to ask a question. And again, is that like a multiple choice, or is it a free-form text field, or?
So right now it's free-form text. Multiple choice is coming pretty soon, but some places. So this is like you can ask like where did you hear about us or something like that.
Right.
And also you can use it as a skill set test. So in some places to have a giveaway be legal, like Canada, there has to be a skills test. So you can say like, what color is the sky? And basically that just gets around their laws so that the giveaway is valid. Right. But but that's basically for collecting information. And again, like if you want somebody's phone number, you can make that required, or their address, or it's just a way to collect information from the visitors.
Okay. All right. So the next one is visitor page. So rather than going off to Facebook, you could encourage them to look at something on your own website. That's nice.
Any page, yep.
And there's this mysteriously entitled Invent Your Own. Now, not having any insight into the back end of the plugin, I don't even know where that would lead me. What does Invent Your Own let me do?
Sure. So basically, what that does is let you invent your own. So let's say, for example, we want them to leave a comment on a post. So we don't have that as a specific action right now. But what you could do is say, please leave a comment on this post and add the URL. And then you can explain what they need to do to confirm it. And then in the confirm action, you would have them post the link to the comment. Okay. And that way you can create stuff that is not necessarily part of the plugin, but it just gives you a way to have them do actions that aren't pre-baked into the plugin.
Right, I get it. So it's you get them to do something and then you get them to prove that they've done it in some fairly straightforward, simple way. That's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One of the things that I notice on your version, and clearly this is how you would do it, is you've got your own branding at the bottom of the widget, which, by the way, is like a tall rectangle. That's how the widget is designed. Is that?
Yes.
I know that's going to come up because it always does. Is
Yes.
the branding removable? Do people who've got a current license get that possibility?
Absolutely.
To take that away?
Yep, you can remove that, and then if you're part of our affiliate program, if you want to keep it there, you can enter your affiliate URL, and then anybody that clicks on that link and ends up purchasing the plugin, you'll get a cut from it as well. So, but if you don't want it at all, you can just click a button and it'll take it off.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you could give us, apart from the WP beginner success story that you had at the beginning, have you, now that this plugin is reaching a certain level of maturity, have you heard about some nice success stories? Obviously, you don't have to mention any names, but is it living up to the dream that you had for it when you went through the incubator and decided to go all in on it?
Yes, we have. We've had. I mean, it's a fairly new plugin. It's only been out a couple of months. Sorry, but we are actually about to do a bunch of Black Friday stuff with it. So we've got some big plans for it. But I've had a lot of other people using it. A lot of big companies in WordPress have bought it and are using it right now. So we are just now starting to get back data. But like I said, if you run it properly, then you will get results from it.
The other thing which I know will be asked is tell us about the roadmap. If we were to buy it, we're also buying its future, not just its present. Do you have any insight into things that you've got? And nobody's gonna keep you to this, but any notion
Sure.
of what might be coming in the near future?
So right now, the biggest things is just making it work with no bugs. We want you to install it and basically it just work. As far as features, the next thing to come out is submit an image, which is coming out today. And then we've got polls and surveys coming out in the next few weeks, which will basically let you survey your audience, and it will present a nice graph to you on the answers that they've submitted. So again, if one of your maybe you poll people to say, where did you hear about us?
Yeah.
That will give you basically a summary of all the answers, so you can see that in the background.
Yeah.
We're also working on some more GDPR updates that will be coming out. So while consent is one of the requirements, we also want to make sure people can scrub data and not collecting IP addresses. So we just want to make sure that it works for everyone where they live and meets all their local laws.
Are you personally full-time on this now, or is this part of a wider set of things that you're working on?
Yeah, this is full-time. Yes.
Nice. Just you?
So it's me and Syed is my co-founder.
Yep.
Syed runs Automotive and WP Beginner,
Yeah.
and is also co-founder in WP Forms and Opt-in Monster and a lot of those other companies.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got a lot of marketing weight behind it. I think it's fabulous. I'm going to give you the floor. I've asked you everything that I think I need to get asked today, if that's all right. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Sure.
Any Twitter handles, any email addresses, anything you want to say, it's over to you.
Yeah, sure. So you can visit us on RafflePress.com, which you've already mentioned. And on RafflePress.com as well, we've got some great guides. So if you scroll down to the bottom of RafflePress.com, there's a few guides down there that help people get started or just give them, guidance. Because The biggest thing is we don't want you to get the plugin and not know what to do next. So we've got several articles. One is on how to create an online contest, which basically walks you through the process, and it's a beginner's guide of how to run a successful giveaway. And then we've got proven contest ideas and over 100 of them that you can try. So if you're not sure what to give away, these are ideas for you. And then we also have promotion ideas, so ways to promote your contest and get the word out. So you can check those out again on our blog. Just go to rafflepress.com and scroll down to the bottom, and you can see some quick links down there. And then on Twitter, we're RafflePress. And on Facebook, we're facebook.com/RafflePress. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, John,
Absolutely.
for coming on today and talking to us. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Nathan.
Well, there you go. Thanks to John Turner for coming on and talking to us today all about RafflePress. As I say, it's a plugin that I can personally recommend because I'm using it over at wpbuilds.com/win. If you get there before the 8th of January 2020, there are some WP Forms licenses up for grabs, so you might want to go to that, wpbuilds.com/win. And please come back. Every Thursday we're going to be doing a podcast episode, and every Monday we're going to be doing our news. I release a weekly summation of the WordPress news. That comes out very early in the morning UK time, and then at 2 p.m. UK time we have a slot where we do a live version. You can find that at wpbuilds.com/live, and it's growing in popularity, and so come and join the conversation. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by WP and Up. 1 in 4 of us will be directly affected by mental health related illness. WP and Up supports and promotes positive mental health within the WordPress community. This is achieved through mentorship, events, training and counselling. Please help enable WP and Up by visiting wpandup.org/give. If you're not familiar with this podcast, you will not know that at the end of each episode, we fade out with some dreadful, cheesy music. It's deliberately dreadful. Please don't write in and tell me you don't like the music. That's kind of the point. And I found a particularly jazzy, awful piece today, so all I have to say is I'll fade in the music and say, see you next week. Bye-bye for now.